Hi there, guys. Welcome to Learn Extra Live. It is a Thursday, and that means it's Matt's Lit.
Yay.
And as you can see, Hayley is standing next to me. I'm
Hi.
sitting. How are you, Hayley?
How you doing?
Good. I'm so excited for the show, and I'm glad.
Absolutely. Me too.
Glad to be
Can't
here.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, what we're going over is plans and models.
Yeah.
Hayley, want to tell them more about it?
Well, we're going to do some plans. We're going to look at some 2D, like top views of certain objects. I'm going to do a couple of questions and looking forward to the show, Indy.
Awesome. Take your little spot.
Okay,
I'll do my
thank
usual
you.
thing. Okay, guys, what you need to do is you need to tune into facebook.com/learn extra. Make sure that you post on the page, whether it be questions, inspirational quotes. This community is for you, and this page is for you. And I'm here to chat and ask Hayley any questions that you may be wondering. If, maybe you're not understanding, and maybe don't be embarrassed and don't be shy. Put it on our page or even chat to us at Learn Extra on Twitter. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Hayley. Hayley, take it away.
Indy. Right, guys. So, we're doing plans and models today. But before we start, we need to discuss our numbers. So, Indy, last week we were on 15,553. So tell me what we are today.
Okay, I'm so excited to do this one because, guys, if you've been watching, you would have seen that we actually reached 16,000.
Yay.
But not only that, we've gone above and beyond. So we are at 16,291 mindsetters on the Facebook page.
That's absolutely brilliant, guys. I'm so happy that this is increasing. But come on, tell your friends, we can still get it more. We were just discussing before the show that we'd actually like this to get to about 20 by the end of the year.
I think we
if
can
not
do
more,
it.
I think we can do more.
I think we do 25,000.
25,000.
That's what will make me happy. It'll make me happy.
Let's make Indy happy, guys.
Yeah,
Come on.
My Christmas present. For my Christmas
Let's
present.
make Indy happy. But what's so nice is that we're really beginning to 16,000 of you on Facebook. And we know that there are other ways that you can get hold of us, but that 16,000 is really important. So hopefully you chat to us today, and let's get some of your opinions today. So we're going to start with plans and models. I've got a little bit of a blank space here because I want to look at some plans. Now, one of the things that it tells us in our documents is that for grade 10, our plans, we need to look at top view. So we are looking at, let me write that, we are looking at the top view of certain, whoops, can't spell today. We're looking at the top view of certain things, items, places, like your school, your classroom, your bedroom. I'm going to come back to all of that. So what I thought I'd do to actually start off the show is I'd start by looking at a few items. So I've got a couple of little props here that I'm going to look at. So first of all, if I look at my glass, if we're looking at the top view, what do we see in my glass? So you can see my top view is just the rim of the glass. Now I'm going to draw that for you. So my top view of my glass is just a rim, and it's actually, I mean, my circle's not so great. It is two circles together, and this is the glass. Right, so that's the top view of the glass. Now if I actually get to look at the bottom of the glass, what does that look like? Now we've got a circle, but it is a solid circle. So that's the bottom of the glass, and it's a solid circle. Hope you can all see that. Let's look at some other top views. Right, if I look at my coffee mug. Now, with my coffee mug, I have the circle, the rim of the coffee mug. But then I also have this piece, which is the handle. And when I draw this, I need to include the handle. Now, if I take this part of the handle and just imagine that I'm taking the glass and I'm squashing it flat, because I want a two-dimensional drawing. So what do I have with this is the cup. Maybe we should change color. Right, get a little bit more space. Right, I have a circle. And again, it is not so very good, that second line. Let's try that again. Okay, let's try. Right, I have a circle. I'm going to actually just draw it as a single line. But remember, it is double line. Okay, and now I'm going to draw my handle. Now, if I squash this, I actually end up with a rectangle coming out of the side of the circle. I hope you can all see that. If we have to just imagine you are squashing it flat. Okay, let's look at my next shape. I have this clock. Okay, and if I look at the top view of the clock, what do I notice? It is a semicircle. So if I draw my clock, Again, let's get a different color. Right, I have a semicircle of plastic and a piece of plastic across. And again, it has thickness. So that should be like kind of a double layer, or maybe just a little bit thicker. If I could draw perfectly over that, I would do that. So we have a semicircle. It's important to be able to see things from the top angle. I'm going to give you one that's really challenging. So I'm going to take my chair that I have here, similar to the chair that Indy was sitting on. I'm going to lift my chair because we want a top view. So I'm hoping that the camera can actually pick this up, and that okay, we'll do it that way. And then I don't actually break anything.
Hades is dangerous today,
Danger
guys.
today.
Danger.
Okay, what do we have on my chair? I have the seat, which is a circle. But on top of that, I also have this backrest. And what part of the backrest will I actually see? I see that part, this like arc, part of a circle of the backrest. And when I look flat, there's quite a gap between the seat and the backrest. And you probably will see a little bit of the back of the seat, which will be rectangles. So we're going to try and draw that. And I hope this actually works. So let's put the chair down. Move the chair a little bit out the way. So let's find some space. And let's get a different color. So we now have our chair. Right, our chair. So we have a circle for the seat. That was the seat, remember? Then we had this backrest, which was actually a little bit thicker than my circle. Now my circle, remember, is fully completed because that's where I sit. Then my backrest, but joining the backrest to the seat were those two pieces of metal, so they would look like rectangles. So that would then be my chair, top view of the chair. Now I think maybe we should challenge you a little bit. Should we challenge them a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Mindset does love a good challenge.
Let's challenge a little bit, and let's look at the chair, but let's actually look at the bottom of the chair. And I'm talking about this as a top view, although it is the bottom, because I could have it stacked upside down. And we need to bear in mind that if we're going to be stacking this chair in a box, how are we going to place it? Are we going to dismantle the chair to put it into a box? So these are all things that we need to keep in mind. Let's look at the bottom of the chair. Right, bottom of our chair has, hey, try not to break anything. It has 4 circles at the bottom that we need to draw, because we're squashing this chair. We also have these lines, these pieces of metal, which will actually be 4 tiny, very long rectangles. And then if I look towards the back of the chair, you will probably see my cross at the bottom of the chair here, and you will see the seat. So let's try to draw this all together. So we have, and we're starting at one side, and we're going to move along. So we have our 4 circles. That's the bottom of the chair. Those were connected with the metal on 3 sides. Those were connected on 3 sides. Then we had our chair seat. Okay, not too bad, mind, right? And we also had the cross. And the cross was our rectangles like that. And I think that probably gives us the balance of the chair. The majority of the chair. I think that we're missing probably slightly where we have, this is slightly wider, and I've drawn it like not so wide. So we might have a little bit of this tubing that we haven't put into our diagram. But I think more or less we have our chair. So that's our chair. What else do we think we could do a model of? Indy, how are your model drawings?
Not actually too bad.
Not too bad.
I'll tell the mindset is I design things. So I'm actually, and I'm an illustrator and I draw. So not actually too bad.
Not too bad. Okay, perfect. What we need to bear in mind, so let's now think about, for example, the room that you're sitting in. Now we're looking at a top view of the room that you're sitting in. So you would probably be sitting on a couch. So let's just look at a TV room. Right, if we had to imagine a TV room. Now, I'm going to picture in my hand probably a different TV room to you. But okay, so my TV room, I have my TV cabinet. Now, my TV cabinet that has my TV in is actually a wooden cabinet that is sealed. So all I can see from the top is a rectangle. My TV's inside, can't see the TV from the top view. And these are things that you need to bear in mind. But if I'm sitting there, then I would have a couch.
So if there's any architects or interior designers in the making, guys, I hope you're watching.
I hope they're watching too. Absolutely. So we would have our couch. I would probably have to label some of these because the rectangle could basically be anything. Okay, and maybe
like, is that a flat screen TV?
Well,
Okay, is that a flat screen?
My TV cabinet has got a wood piece on top, so you can't see what the TV looks like. You're looking at it from above. Remember that. Okay. I also have a chair on its own. Okay, and maybe we could have a pot plant. Okay. Now, pot plant, what would we see from above? Would we actually see the plant depending on the size? So if I've got a pot plant, depending on the size of the plant, does it go over my pot, or is it a narrow pot that kind of fits inside? Does that make sense?
Or on top of it, yeah.
Or on top of it, so inside. So if I've got a plant that doesn't go over the sides, then I don't need to draw the leaves. But if I do, then I would have to put leaves kind of going out. Imagine this plant from above. Now we take it and we squash it flat. Looks rather strange, this drawing at the moment.
Imagination is very powerful.
Do we have a TV table? Okay, we have a coffee table. And we can carry on and carry on, but this is really just from above. And this is what we would see. So you could do any of your rooms. Think about it, your bedroom. You've got your bed, and then next to your bed you've got bedside tables, possibly a TV. So all these things need to be taken into account that you're drawing from above. Another important fact would be to actually be able to draw, say, your classroom. And if you draw your classroom, you would basically have, okay, let's do the outside of the classroom. Okay. Now, you're not going to draw the board unless it comes out, maybe it comes out a little bit. Maybe we could see a little bit of the board. And then we would have desks. And we can draw all these desks in the classroom and possibly chairs. I'm not sure how we would draw the chairs. Maybe small little rectangles. What do the chairs look like from above? Small little rectangles. Now, what's important to note as well, guys, is that sometimes we have scale on these drawings. So what is a scale? Let's change color. I think I need a new color. We have scale on these drawings. Now, your scale is how big is everything in real life. So it takes your drawing, which is this tiny replica of the real life. And when we're dealing with drawings, we're probably dealing with possibly like 1 centimeter equals maybe a meter in real life. Or 1 centimeter maybe equals 150 centimeters in real life. But remember, we don't deal in 100 centimeters. So my classroom's probably a 1 to 100, okay? Which means every 1 centimeter on my drawing is equal to 1 meter in real life, because I can convert that 100 to meters. The second scale would be 1.5 meters. And later on, I think we're going to be dealing with a scale of 1 to 300. So possibly if I was doing a drawing of the school, I would maybe use a bigger scale. The bigger this number is, the less detail I can get. The smaller the number, the more detail. But I can also get bigger area. Does that all make sense?
That does.
Let me say that again. If I've got a small scale, like 1 to 100, I can have a lot of detail. I can show every single desk in my classroom. I can show where the board is. I can make it a lot of detail. You see a lot of information. As I get bigger, say to 300, where I'm looking at the school, now I'm going to be showing a classroom. If the classroom's 3 meters wide, it's only 1 centimeter on my map or my drawing. So I can't put the desks in there. So as this number increases, I get more information but less detail. So I can fit an entire school, but I can't give you the actual classrooms and the chairs and desks. If I make this a little bit bigger, then I could be looking at, say, a town or a city, and even bigger, we can look at a country. But we're not going to go there today.
And I want to know as well, doors and windows.
Doors and windows.
Doors and windows. How do you get out of that classroom?
That classroom you're not getting out of.
No, that classroom
Okay.
is stuck.
That's great. Now, there are different ways to draw doors and windows. So let's try. We're going to draw a window on the side, and I'm going to do it as 2 lines. And then I'm going to put a door. I delete a little bit of this. I'm going to put a door here. What we normally do with a door is we draw a kind of like an arc, okay? Because that shows me that the door opens that way, goes into the classroom. Different plans have different, what would we call these, markings,
Yeah.
different characteristics. And we need to be able to pick up which are the windows, which are the doors, and what they're represented by. So if you look at architects' drawings, those are absolutely perfect and beautiful and to scale, and they show you all the furniture and everything, and their doors are absolutely perfect. Not quite as pretty as my yellow little door there.
I love your yellow little door.
You love my yellow little door.
Yeah.
Maybe we should put another window here.
Yes. Classrooms
I think we
lots
need lots
of windows.
of light. In fact,
lots
I could
of
probably
windows.
have lots more windows. Okay, but that's the gist of being able to understand what we've got. And we're going to be going through some models and some plans today, so hopefully we'll get a better understanding. And I'm sure that you guys have actually been doing some in class. So you can also look in your textbooks, and your textbooks will give you different ideas. So I think I'm actually quite happy with my drawing, except that my board moved.
It's beautiful.
So maybe we should move my board back. Should we take a little bit of a break now?
Yeah,
and
let's
come
take a
back and
little
do some
break.
questions?
Okay, guys, maybe you should send in some questions because I obviously have lots of my own questions. So yeah, do that. We're going to take a little break, but before we do, I do want to read a little quote from Steffi, one of our mindsetters, who I'm very fond of, who always posts on the page, and she says, I have a quote for today. Every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. So think about that, and we'll see you now after the break. Hi guys, and welcome back to Mindset Learn. We are going over Maths Lit in grade 10, so I hope that you're all enjoying the show. So now if you do have any questions that you do have from the show that we've been talking about so far, blah, 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 please send them to facebook.com/learnextra. We're also on Twitter @learnextra. So please tweet us, chat to us. Twitter's nice and fast. We can get those questions rocking and rolling. And without further ado, I think I'm going to pass it back to Hayley. There you
Thanks,
go.
Cindy. Okay, guys, now that we've finished our drawing, let's start with question 1. So question 1 says, the seating plan for the cinema is shown below. The key, and that's what we need to look out for, we often get a key, is at the bottom of the plan. Define the different categories of seats and their cost. Using the seating plan, answer the questions that follow. So we're going to look at the plan. Right, we have seats going back from double A, double B, and then A, B, C all the way. We've got yellow seats, green seats. We've got some grey seats on the side, yellow in front, and then here's our key. So our grey seats, we can see there's category 1, and they are 25 Rand a seat. Yellow seats are category 2 at 30 Rand. Green seats are category 3 at 45 Rand. And finally, the seat with an X in it is a wheelchair seat. So it's important to actually read the plans. And lastly, the most important is this is the screen. Okay, and now this is a top view. You can see, excuse me, each one of the seats is just a rectangle. So we are looking at the screen from above, and that's why my screen is just a line. Because looking at it from above, I'm not going to see any part of the screen except for like the top line. Let's answer the questions. Let's look at the questions. So now, right, how many seats are there in row G? So let's go look at row G. There's row G. Let's get a different color. We're looking at row G. That's that row there. And what do we know about row G? There are no seats on the side. It starts at seat number 5. So that is 5, and that is seat number 24. So when we look at that, we have to calculate how many seats there are. You can do one thing and you can sit and you can count them. That's one way of doing it. Alternatively, I can say, well, 24 minus 5 is 19, but I need to include the 5th and the 24th seat. So in actual fact, I have 20 seats. So I have from 5, now I've lost my pen, from 5 to 24, including both of them, gives me 20 seats. Right, let's go back. Let's read the next question and go back to our plan. How much does a ticket cost in each of the following seats? So we're looking for B3. Are you going to remember our numbers?
Okay, am I the number lady?
Number lady. We
Okay,
need B3. So let's give Indy a moment to remember this.
So flustered, remembering these numbers.
K3. Have you got B3?
B3,
K3. K9.
Yeah.
And that's all. So let's go back to our plans. So our first one was B3. Well, we need to find B3. So we find our row B, which is this row here. There's B. And our third seat is 1, 2, 3. It's that there. Okay. And now it is a yellow one. So what was our price? It is 30 Rand. So we know that it's yellow, so it's 30 Rand, and we can fill that in. Right, the next one was B.
The next one is K3.
K3, sorry,
Yeah.
K3. So now we go down to K, and K3 is this third seat that side. Okay, and we look at that. That's category 1, and it is 25 Rand for K3. And then we had K9.
Yeah,
Am I right?
we had,
K9. Right, K9, so we've got 7, 8. K9 is a green seat, and that's category 3, and it's 45 Rand. So let's go back and fill that into our things. So K3 was, B3 was
B3 was 30.
30 Rand, K3 was
25.
25, and K9 was
45.
45.
The expensive seats.
The expensive seats.
Yeah.
Supposedly the good seats. So that's a good question. So let's discuss it now quickly.
Yeah.
Why are they different prices? And you often find this, especially if you go to concerts.
Yeah,
So
always.
you get different prices. And the theory is that it's your view. How well can you actually see the screen? So that's why for certain seats you will pay a higher premium. I think there might be a question about that. Let's go to the next question. Right. Give the seat numbers of the wheelchair seats that cost 45 Rand per seat. Now we're looking for the seat numbers. So let's go back to our plan. 45 Rand, first of all, we need to find that is in the green section. So we're first looking for 45 Rand seats. So we're looking for green. And then we're looking for, within the green, where are the seats where we've got wheelchairs? Well, in fact, let's look at all the wheelchairs for a moment. These seats here are wheelchair seats, but they are yellow. So we're going to ignore those. Then we find where else have we got wheelchairs? We've got those seats there. And those are in the 45 Rand mark. So let's get these seats. Now we've got, so it is in row H. So first thing we need is our letter, tell us which row it's in. So it's in row H, and it's seat number 8, 9, and 10. So we've got 5, 6, 7, and then it goes 8, 9, and 10. Hope you can see those numbers, but let's write it in. So it was in row H, 8, H9, and H10. Now we probably could have written it as H8 to 10, but maybe we shouldn't be too lazy and let's rather write it in full. So we've got the seat numbers of the wheelchair seats that cost 45 Rand. Let's move to the next question. It says, why is there no row R? Did we pick up that there was no row R when we were looking at the plan? Well, let's go back to our plan. We go from H.
Oh, R is the best letter in the alphabet.
We go from H to J. And why do you think there's no letter R? Should we ask Indy? Maybe Indy knows. Indy, I'm putting you on the
That's
spot. I really
tragedy.
am.
The what? I is the letter that should never be missing from any kind of seating plan.
Yeah, and
I actually, could it be because of the wheelchair?
I don't think it's because of the wheelchair, because then they could have started R here. Okay, so I'm going to
I
let
actually
you
have no
into-
idea.
Now, these are the kind of questions where, guys, you really need to start thinking a little bit out the box and give us your opinion. It is your opinion. So, honestly, it's very hard for your teacher to mark you wrong. But I think if you look at the letter R, and I'm going to go back to my question. Okay, look at the letter R.
I know why.
You know why. Okay,
Because-
Indy's got it.
Okay. The seats are a team, and there's no I in team. And that's what I'm sticking to.
There's a good theory.
Okay?
But look at the
But they
things.
give me
Now,
2
if I had
marks.
to go I1, if I had to write, let's compare this. If I had to write, well, I'm looking at H1, okay, or I had to write it's R1, what does that look like? Okay, kind of looks like an 11. Not sure which is the number and which is the letter. And I think they leave out the letter R because it looks so much like the number 1.
Discrimination.
And it could also look like an L.
Number discrimination.
Like maybe a small L instead of a capital. So I think we've got a letter discrimination in this case.
Yes.
But that is the reason why we don't find the letter R in our particular exercise.
That makes sense.
Okay, let's see what our next question is. Right. By discussing the view that you would have of the screen from your seat and comparing the price of the seats with others, discuss whether you think it is correct to treat seats O24 as category 1 seats. So let's go to O24 and see where we're actually sitting. So, O24. There's little O, and 24 is this seat over there. Why am I writing in black? Let's get a nice color to write in. Let's try orange. O24 is that seat over there. Now, are we correct to say that that should be a category 1? Now, think about the screen. That's where the screen ends. So how much of the screen are you looking at? You're looking at a very steep angle towards the screen. I'm not sure if you actually can see that part of the screen, possibly that part of the screen. So look at it in relation to the screen. Are you getting the best view of the movie? So I think that O24 should be category 1 because you're not as clear as possibly sitting in this category 3 where you can see everything. Let's change the color. Let's change the color. Compare that to category 3. What color haven't I used here? Can't use green. Let's try yellow. So if we're sitting in that seat, that's the view I have of the screen. I've got this perfect view, but of course I'm paying more for having that perfect view. That depends on what movie you're seeing. I think that I would pay money to see.
Mm.
Although my husband would be laughing at me
I
right
haven't
now
been
because
to
I
movies
never go to
forever.
movies. So he would take me to any seat. Okay, and I think that takes us to the end of that question. So let's go see if we've answered everything in the question. O24 is category 1. So I haven't written it in here, but I think that what it tells us, so discuss your seat. We think that it is correct. Yes, it's correct. And we can discuss things like possibly the view. Also, how close are you to too close to the screen? So all these kind of things that I need you to include and add. And again, it's one of those questions, it really is your opinion. It really is. But make a decision and stick to it and justify your decision.
I have a question. So then, how do the teachers mark these questions? For example, with the earlier question about the
letter R.
the letter I, which I was not getting. So I would probably get 0 on that question. What if I said the letter I was there? Okay, I actually can't think of
You can't
all
think of it.
the ones I can think of is ridiculous now.
Sometimes they are a little bit ridiculous. You know, I think that especially in Maths Lit and a subject like this, we've got quite a lot of leeway with the kids. And in my class, I'd rather see that the child is actually trying and they are thinking about it. And if they're thinking about it, even if it's not a perfect train of thought and it's not exactly what's on my memo, I would give them the benefit. So as long as they justify their answer.
That's awesome.
And very often, in actual fact, while I've been marking, I get an answer and I think, wow, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
And
that's
that is
amazing.
absolutely brilliant.
So it's actually about, the logic, the logical
Absolutely,
reasons.
absolutely. And it's being
Yeah.
able to communicate your thoughts, which is important. And often my memo says any valid reason.
Any valid
Any
reason.
valid reason. That's my memo.
I can imagine my answer. My answers might be quite creative.
But that's what
Yeah.
we want. We want to see creativity. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our next question. I think it's our next question. Right. We've got question 2. Arno owns a little cottage on his private game farm. Here is a floor plan of his cottage. So let's look at his cottage. Now, we have the cottage. We've got an open plan kitchen, dining room, and lounge. So that's there. Right, what do we see? I've got windows, which are at an angle, and then clearly they've indicated which are the doors. So my doors are my straight lines. So that's a door. So maybe we should color code this. Let's make this a little bit easier. In fact, I'm going to go get my model in here and color code it. So let's move to the next page here. Right, and then we can refer back to this. So let's color code these. We're going to make windows. Windows are at an angle. I'm going to make them in purple. And guys, this is something that you could quite easily do whenever you get a question, is use colors, because it makes it a whole lot easier to interpret. So those are my windows. Now I'm going to make my doors. Let's make my doors yellow. So doors are the straight lines. There's doors. We've got doors in the bathroom, the bedroom, and I think I've got all the doors. So clearly we've got one door going into this open plan kitchen dining room. How many bedrooms have we got? We've got one bedroom there and one bedroom there, so we've got 2 bedrooms. We've got 2 bathrooms. This bathroom's leading off the bedroom, and that bathroom's leading off the bedroom. So I can't access the bathroom unless I go through the bedroom, which is quite an interesting fact. And then it does give us measurements. So let's see what else it says. It says the height of the inside walls of all the rooms from floor to ceiling is 3,000 millimeters. The windows in the bedroom are 175 centimeters by 120 centimeters. The windows in the bathroom, they also give me those dimensions. And the width of each door is 90 centimeters, and the height of the door is 2 meters. So they've given me a lot of information. I've read through it, but right now I'm not sure what they're going to ask. So let's go back to the questions and see what it is that we need to know. Right, we also have, which is quite interesting in this diagram, a compass. So we can see that north is facing up. Right, that's my height and everything. Let's look at the questions. So, in what general direction does the window in bedroom 2 face? So let's go back to our drawing. General direction, bedroom 2. So bedroom 2, the window is facing that way. And if we look at our compass, we can see that it is facing west. So the bedroom's facing west. Next part of the calculate the area of a door in bedroom 2 and the window in bedroom 2. So we want the area, and remember our area was our length times breadth. So we're going to do both. We're going to do, too much space there. We need to calculate the door, and we need to calculate the window. So I'm going to go back to my diagram now and see what those dimensions were. So the windows in the bedroom are 175 by 120 centimeters. And I'm going to work in centimeters for now. And the door is 90 centimeters and a height of 2 meters. So my question doesn't say in what unit it needs it. So if it doesn't tell you, then you can work in either unit. We might have to convert later. So my door, now I can't remember what my door was. Go back to the plans. My door was 170, no, that's my window, 175 by 120. 175 by 120. And my door was 90 by 2 meters. 90 centimeters by 2 meters. There's a problem here. Okay, so firstly, there's a problem there. We've got to work in the same unit. So I'm going to convert my meters into centimeters and say 90 times by 200. And then I'm going to do my window with the same, well, my window are both in centimeters, so I'm fine with that. So we can do this calculation. And I would show you on a calculator, but right now I don't have a calculator, but I think it might be a good time to take a bit of a break.
I think it's the perfect time for a break.
I can get a calculator out.
Yeah, we can get the calculator out. I can take a little stretch. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Guys, please post your questions onto the page, facebook.com/Learn Extra. We want to hear from you. I want to talk to you. Also, at Learn Extra on Twitter. Think about it. Maybe, maybe not. See you now after the break. Hi guys, and welcome back to Mindset Learn. We are having an awesome time, and I hope that you are tuning in and Facebooking us, facebook.com/Learn Extra. Also, tweet us at Learn Extra, and Twitter's nice and fast, Hayley, because it's like, direct contact. So if you guys are struggling with anything, you can ask us questions. We are here to help you. This community little page, it's not just for us. We don't have it for fun. It's so you guys can discuss things, work over questions, solve problems, post inspirational quotes, and all of that. So what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass it over to Hayley. Hayley, take it away.
Thanks, Cindy. Okay, guys, welcome back. So now, I was looking for my calculator before. I've now got a calculator. But it occurred to me in the break that maybe we should actually be working in meters, because normally we work in area of meters squared, especially when they're going to ask us for the area of the bedroom. So I'm going to convert this back to meters, and I'm going to say, well, in actual fact, how much was 9? It was 0.9 meters, and times that by 2, and get the area of the door. So now on my calculator, I get my calculator out, and I've got 0.9 times by 2, and that gives me 1.8. So that's 1.8, and don't forget your units, 1.8 meters squared. And then my window, I'm going to change this as well. I probably should change colors into meters, and all I've done is divided by 100, so don't panic. And let's do that on the calculator. Is 1.75 times by 1.2, and we get an answer of 2.1. So the area of my meters was 2.1 meters squared. Okay, so that seems quite easy and standard. Right. Anna wants to paint the walls of both bedrooms. Show that the area of the walls that need to be painted in bedroom 2 is 42.3 meters squared, sorry. Now, we are looking for the area of the walls. Now, coincidentally, we've just worked out the area of the door and the window. So we are basically going to be looking at the wall, and let's look at the outside of this bedroom, minus the door, minus the window. That's basically what we're looking at. So we need to get these dimensions. Now I'm going to do the dimensions of the entire wall kind of as a top view, and I'm going to look at the perimeter of my wall. So my perimeter is all my walls. So let's go back to my drawing. So there's my plan, and I'm going to look at bedroom 2. So what do I know about bedroom 2? I've got 3 meters by 5 meters by 3 meters by 5 meters. So let's now add those all up. So I've got 10, 16 meters, and I could probably have used a formula. So I've got 16 meters, and that's my perimeter. What was my height? The height was 3,000 millimeters. So let's go back to write that in. So my perimeter was now 16 meters, and my height was 3,000 millimeters. But now we can't deal in millimeters and in meters. Not going to make any sense. So we're going to divide this by 1,000, because there are 1,000 millimeters in a meter. So we end up with 3. So my area that needs to be painted is in actual fact 16 times 3 minus my door and the window. So we've got that from the question before. So let's do our 16 times 3. So 16 times 3 is 48. So we have 48 meters squared. I don't think I've got a pen for that. 48 meters squared. And then I'm going to minus my door, which was 1.8, and my window, which was 2.1. I think that might be no, that was right. And let's do that on the calculator. So 1.8 plus 2.1. And that gives me 3.9, and we're going to minus that from 48. 48 minus our 3.9, and we get on to our 44.1. What did they ask us to? 44.1. And they asked us to make sure that it got to 42.3. So we somehow have a mistake. Maybe I've got those numbers wrong. It was 1.8 and 2.1. Hey, rather interesting situation where we end up with an answer that doesn't quite make sense, because we should have got to 42.3. And we got to 44.1. Have I made any mistakes? Let's go back to our drawing and see where we could have made a mistake. So I've got my one window. I'll tell you where the mistake is. There are 2 doors in this diagram. So I need to minus another door. So let's go back to that calculation, back to the calculation, and we need to minus 2 doors. So I'm going to minus 1.8, and let's see if we get that. Minus 1.8, and now we get 42.3. And that's what's really important, is being able to go backwards and actually see, well, no, hold on a second, I've made a mistake somewhere, and where is the mistake? So clearly, I just left off one of the doors. Let's go on to the next question. Right. He plans to use paint that covers 4 meters squared per litre. The paint is sold in 5-litre containers, costing 209.99 each. The area of the walls in the bedrooms is 35.4 meters squared. What will it cost to paint the 2 bedrooms? The area of bedroom 1 they've given to us. So now we need the area of the walls. So we need bedroom 1 was 35.4. And bedroom 2, we've just calculated. And even if you didn't get to the correct answer, if you had continued like I did with that mistake and maybe left it with a mistake, go to what they told you. So they told you it was 42.3. So that's the number we're going to use here, 42.3. That's our total area of the walls. So we're going to, of both bedrooms. Let's add that on our calculator, 42.3 plus 35.4, and we get 77.7. So we need 77.7 meters squared. That's what we need to paint. We now know that each litre covers 4 meters squared. So let's find out how many litres we need. So we're going to divide this by 4 meters squared. And that's going to tell me how many litres I need. So I calculate it out again and say my 77.7 is divided by 4, sorry about that, right, is 19.425. 19.425. Point? 19 point, plus that, 425. Now, I can't have a 0.425 of a litre, so clearly I need to make that 20 litres. And now we read that 5-litre containers. So how many containers does he need? Well, we're going to divide our 20 by 5, and we're going to get that he needs 4 containers. And what was our question? What will it cost for the paint? we need 209 Rand 99. Let's get a different color out. So it's costing us 209 Rand 99, and we need to buy 4 containers. Let's do that on our calculator. So it's 209.99 times by 4, and we get 839 Rand 96. £839.96. Have we answered the question correctly? It says, what will it cost to paint the 2 bedrooms? We've got that perfect. Let's move on to the next question. The painter Wade hired the paint to paint the bedrooms, charges 49 Rand 50 per hour on weekdays. So, I don't see a question with that one. Charges 49 Rand an hour. Let's move to the next part. If he works at weekends and charges 40% extra on a Saturday, and he paints for 6 hours on Friday and 6 hours on Saturday, what does Honor owe him to complete the job? So let's go back to find out. He charged 49 Rand 50 per hour. So during the week, so on our Friday, he paid 49 Rand 50 per hour. How many hours did he work on Friday? He worked 6 hours on Friday. On the weekend, so on Saturday, we need to increase that amount, our 49 Rand 50. We need to increase it by 40%. So I'm going to multiply it by 140% to get my new value. So 49 Rand 50 times by 140%, and I get 69 Rand 30. So he charges 69 Rand 30 on the weekend. Remember, that's money. So we need an R. And he worked 6 hours. So we're paying 69 Rand 30 times 6 hours. And now we can do those calculations on our calculator. So we had our 49 Rand 50 times by 6 plus our 69 Rand 30 times 6, and we get a total of 712 Rand 80. 712 and 80 cents. So that is what he paid, and remember, it's money, so it has to be 2 decimal places. So that's what he paid for in total. I want to quickly, I hope we've got enough time, I want to quickly go through question 3. It's another diagram. This is now a diagram of a school. So the following is a scale diagram. This is something that I want you to look out for. This word scale. Because when there's a scale, it means that it's been drawn in the direct, exact proportions. And this is the admin block of a school. And I just want to start by looking at it and see what we've got. In this case, we've got windows that look like little rectangles. So it's totally different to what we had before. And here are our kind of half circle doors. So those are the doors. So if I had to look at the plans, we've got windows. What color did I do the windows before? Those are windows. And I'm going to just do a yellow door. That's a door. Okay, now this is an important fact of what you need to be able to do is we need to say which rooms lie southwest of the admin office. You need to be able to explain something to me in relation to direction and also next to, behind, in front of, those kind of things. So we're looking for something that's southwest of the admin building. So I'm first looking for the admin building. There's my admin building. And I want southwest, so I'm going in that direction. And which rooms are there? It's the stationery room and the kitchen. So I think I've probably taken them through quite a lot, Indy. I think maybe it's time to kind of take a breath and maybe end off. But
Well,
I hope that they can
believe
actually
we've
do some scales.
come to the end of the show.
I can't believe it either. It goes so quickly.
Let's have a look and see if anyone's got. Steffi says the page is so quiet. It's been very quiet today, guys. Grade 11s. I hope that you guys are better. Let me have a look here. Steffi says she knows it's off the topic, but she also does volunteer work with a group called Top Dogs. And basically what they do is they go to hospitals, old age homes, schools, etc., and they're a non-profit organization. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to tell you guys just to highlight it. And Steffi, please won't you post a little link to the organization so I can share it with the mindsetters too. I think sometimes it's good to, like, you know, share the love and for everyone to know about stuff.
Absolutely.
And we've got Facebook as a community, so now we can start stalking each other. Don't stalk
Let's
each
not
other.
stalk anyone.
Talking to each other. So grade 10s, unfortunately it's the end of our show. Thank you so much for such an amazing show. We really, really enjoyed it. Grade 11s, you're next. Grade 10s, see you same time, same place next week. Bye.